projections came out.
Ooh,
Over-unders.
it's a lot of talk, man.
Oh, yeah. Over-unders for the team and the players have come out. And I'm interested to see what some of the takes are because some of these numbers, in my opinion, a little low.
Yeah, that's some disrespect was that was the word thrown around amongst the people.
I was shocked at some of these individual ones as well. I'm utterly shocked. Like one of them, I think you're unaudibly going to be like losing your mind.
Okay, well, let's start with the player props first, then we can do the team at the end because that's the biggest topic.
I got to shout out my boy Dante151.
Shout out
Dante. $4.99 super chat. I cannot wait to talk about. We could have had Halliburton in 2020 draft instead of that bum Hayes. What a game winner for Halliburton, man! Oh man,
you gotta respect it, man. And I know he feel away about Detroit. It is what it is. I don't necessarily care for him at this point in his career, but he would have been a damn good Piston, bro.
He would have been a damn good Piston, but I don't think he fits with Cade.
Well, I can see where you would say that, but his shooting ability and his ability to be a ball handler, I think they could have made it work. But that's just me though.
That's fair. But that's a conversation for a different day.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Detroit Lions. And so we're going to start off with the comeback player who's coming back off his leg injury, Aidan Hutchinson. 14.5 sacks.
Ooh, that's actually pretty high coming from Vegas, I feel like.
And that's why I told you my floor was 14 yesterday. I didn't even look at that, and I already knew.
You did. Me personally, I'm not gonna, and I'm not saying, listen, people, don't destroy me, all right? I'm not saying Hutch isn't capable of coming back and giving you 14 sacks. Me personally, I'm just not going to put that pressure on him. To me, this should be under, but it'll be a close under. Like I feel like he'll fall at like 12 or 13. 14 and greater is like, that's what we hope for. That's what we want to see Hutch come back like, from the type of injury that he sustained. But overall, I think if he goes out there and he gives you 12 sacks and a lot of pressures, maybe a forced fumble in there or something, I think we'll be fine because the rest of this Lions defensive line, I expect them to be able to eat in these areas as well. So it can't just all be Hutch. Yes, he will be the focal point, but as far as him coming back from this injury, I think 12 sacks is perfect. So I'll go under on that.
You can go under on it. I think that's perfect. I literally think like they could not have set a better line.
Yeah.
I think that 15 sacks is a really good season for Hutch, and I think that that's where they know that, all right, last year he had insane production on such low snap count where I think Vegas is fearful of Hutch and how good Hutch can be. I think that was one of the more inflated numbers that I saw when I was looking through.
Yeah.
14.5 sacks as your over-under on a season is insane.
It is.
And that just proves how good Aidan Hutchinson is. And also the amount of confidence that an entity like Vegas, who has all the information about any player, knows that he's going to come back strong. And that's where I have a lot of confidence in his ability to come back strong and be an effective edge for this team.
And that's what made, him getting hurt last season so sad because the pace he was on was absolutely ridiculous. He could have very well finished last season with close to 20 sacks. Yep. And that's no exaggeration. He really could have done that. And I believe Trey Hendrickson, he ended up leading with 17 sacks. So for him to be put at that number already, they're absolutely showing respect to Aidan. But, of course, the big question is, how will he look coming from this injury? Will he have a slower start? Because the mental aspect of this thing, like we all know Hutch will be 100% by the time camp and the season rolls around, but it's the mental aspect. Yeah. How long does it take him to get back in game shape? These are questions that you have to ask in terms of what can he go out there and actually do. And things are going to look a little bit different. You got a new defensive coordinator in the building now, although you are familiar with him. They are going to do things a little bit differently. You're not going to have Aleem McNeil to start the year. Will it be Ty Leak in that spot? Will it be Roy Lopez? Both of these players unfamiliar with Aidan as well. So there's a lot of factors going into it, but ultimately I feel like Aidan is going to be very, very close, if not the same Aidan that we saw last year. So I'm not necessarily worried about it.
Chase?
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's healthy, I don't think there's really anything to worry about. And I'm not really looking at a specific number as far as his production. I think, we're going to see the influence of the interior of the defensive line, improving not just Aiden's numbers, but whoever else ends up on the other side of him, whether that is Zadarius Smith coming back, whether that's Marcus Davenport playing healthy and getting on the field for 10, 11, 12, 17 games if we're lucky. Who knows who ends up playing over on the other side of the edge, so I think overall we're going to see just an improvement on the defensive line. And once Lee McNeil comes back too, I guess I don't think it's just going to be Aidan Hutchinson who overall sees, a boost. I think the team is just we're gonna like a whole better unit overall. I mean, everybody's gonna be healthy too. That's a big thing. We're as long as we're healthy, I think the whole team's gonna see that the rising tide lift the whole ship.
And maybe Marcus Davenport can stay healthy for 13 games at least. I'm just saying. We have no choice. We have to pray on this.
We got to do some like voodoo magic ritual before the season starts. We'll be in here one day. We're all going to be cloaked up, not white.
Right.
Cloaked up, not white.
And we're
candles
and
shit.
Standing in a circle, voodoo magicking Marcus Davenport to make sure that he stays healthy, so that Hutch has a edge that he can play with for a year.
Yes, please. At least 13 games. That's all I'm asking. After 13, do what you want.
We might have to consult a witch.
Yeah, we might have to, man.
We got to get into the dark arts.
Drastic times call for drastic measures, bro.
I think it's the only answer at this point.
Hey.
JB, what's the answer to 14.5 sacks?
14.5 sacks. I kind of agree with you, Justin. I think Vegas is a little bit fearful of Hutch actually hitting this number. That's why they've kind of put it to a limit of 14.5, so you got to get 15. That they're like, all right, let's put this number up here because we've seen his production last season before he got injured. He was on that pace to at least hit that number of 12 to 13, but still at the same time, things didn't happen and he got injured, so Vegas kind of lucked out on that one. So now they're setting it extremely high, hoping that everyone takes this number, but I'm going to shoot with the under on this one. I know he'll be back fully healthy, but I don't think he's going to, and I don't think the Lions want him to kind of overexert himself and push him to that limit, even though he's had a lot of time off right now. I think they want to kind of ease him back into this, and like whatever sacks he will be able to accomplish this season is going to be it. So I'm shooting for the under on this one, but I'm still going with like 12 or 13.
I'm not mad at it. Hey, shout out real quick. Shout out to Weezy D313. As the original Davin, bro, I'm gonna talk crazy if Dav plays 10 plus games. I think we will all rejoice if he makes it to the double digit mark.
Ooh, is that a jersey bet? Is that a jersy bet? If Davenport plays the whole season, will you get a jersey?
If he plays the whole season, then we can look into it for sure. But there's 17 games, no way. But like I said, all you really need is 12 to 13, and I think this team will be better for that. But go ahead, Justin.
I just think that the only thing that I really like that JB said, and which I'm willing to give validity to, is the fact that Lions don't want him to overexert himself.
Yeah.
And to make sure that he's good coming back off the injury. I wouldn't say worried, but I am fearful that they slow play him to start the season, and they don't, because I view myself like I am an insane person when I play hockey.
Right.
Okay. Like I played through a broken rib, broken in a wrist, like you name it, I played through it.
It's dedication.
That is where I feel I get with Hutch. Hutch has that energy. Hutch has that centered focus. Hutch has that grit that makes him just be irritatable to be how hard he works.
That motor, high motor.
Honestly, the highest motor I've seen on a football field. And when you have that high of a motor, he's just going to go after it. And I truly believe he's getting over 14.5 sacks.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be wrong in that case.
I think he's going to win depoy. I'm not even trying to be a slappy. Like, it's on paper. You can look at the stats from the first half of the year. He was depoy 4 weeks after he was hurt.
No, absolutely he was. But so you're telling me that, okay, if let's say he hits 15 sacks, not only because I think that guarantees you for a comeback player of the year. So you're saying he doubling up in awards is what you're saying?
Maybe they don't give him Sepoy because he wins depoy. I don't need Sepoy if I win depoy.
True, but he will qualify for both.
I mean, he might sweep him. I wouldn't doubt it.
Shit. Okay. All right. I'm not
Unless
mad
they
at
take that Detroit tax and they apply it to Hutch, which is very possible.
The Detroit tax is a real thing.
I will not lie about that. But he has the potential. He has enough time to get back from his injury. I I would expect him to finish top 5 at least.
I'm happy to be wrong on this.
But we are going back to the prop conversation. I like that Hutch conversation. I think that we had a lot of fair opinions. I think that no one in this room expects him to be below 12 sacks, and I think that is a very important thing. So we're going to move on to some more Lions. What did they say? Baby. TBL?
Or
TLB?
Talk Lions, bitch!
Yes, sir.
Bitch!
And the king of the Lions, Jared Goff.
Oh, you said his name.
Stay.
Right.
He has 3,850 passing yards as his over-under.
That's a little crazy. That's a little crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
That's a lot.
That's a little crazy. I definitely think he's going over. I mean, 4,000. That should be like the benchmark. He's been averaging around 4,000 during this time as a Detroit Lion, and I wouldn't expect him to do anything less. You're getting another year of Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best wide receivers in this league. Say what you want about him, I don't care. He is one of the best, top 10 for sure. You have one of the best deep threats, maybe the best number 2 wide receiver in the National Football League in Jamison Williams, and you're returning Tim Patrick. We have this new guy called Isaac Tesla that we have a lot of high hopes for. Hopefully they traded a lot of capital to get him. And I'm very interested to see what this passing offense can look like under John Morton, because some things are going to change. But one thing that isn't going to change is Goff's ability to play action. That is one of his biggest strengths. And this team utilizing the run game and the offensive line like they do, it's hard to expect Jared Goff to go under 4,000 at any stretch. I don't even know how they came up with that line. To me, that's an easy over. That's an easy over.
I have no idea how they came up with this line.
It's ridiculous.
I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Yeah,
I was looking at the stats, and I'm looking at 2022, Goff's first season in Detroit, 4,438 passing yards.
Thank you.
Second year in Detroit, 4,575 passing yards. Third year in Detroit, 4,629 passing yards. What are we?
How the fuck do you come up with that number, bro? That makes no sense.
I think that's a smash.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, unless he gets hurt.
Right. Oh, Vegas. We found out they predicting a Goff injury. We figured it out.
That's like ridiculously low, though. Not even being in the 4,000s.
That's nuts, bro. He's been, top 5 in yards and in touchdowns the last 2 years, too.
Only person he lost off the offense is Ben Johnson.
Yeah, like I don't get that one at all. Like Jared Goff is absolutely gonna eat. And like I said, when you have the type of running game that we have to fuel this Lions offense, and all you gotta do is keep Goff upright. I think we all know that's the rule of thumb with Jared Goff. Keep the pressure out of his face, especially in the interior. If you do that, he's gonna pick defenses apart, bro. Like he's Peyton Manning level in terms of like the way he checks at the line, his audibles and things of that nature. And he's, like I said, one of the best play action quarterbacks in this league. I just don't understand how you come up with this number, and he's never dropped under 4,000 as a Detroit Lion, and arguably as a Ram too. I don't even think has he ever had a 3,000-yard season besides his rookie year? Maybe
he has had 3, 4, and one of them he was hurt though.
Okay, well that makes sense.
And that was when there were only 16 games.
Yeah, but as a Lion, like you said, his first year as a Lion, when we were depleted and had nothing, he put up 4,000. So this is an easy over.
Yeah, how we feeling, Booth boys?
What was the line again?
3,850.
3,850. That seems like extremely low.
Right. Really low.
Yeah, really low.
Like how low
That's
can
really
you go?
low. I gotta agree
in
with you
17
guys.
games.
I gotta agree with you guys. I'm taking an over on this one, unless Vegas somehow, some voodoo magic, they know something we don't know in projecting a Goff injury, which I'm hoping does not happen once again. But then again, I would like to see Hendon Hooker out there. That's just me. Don't come at me. Chill, relax, everybody. But still, I'm taking an over on this one. This should be an easy cash with the offensive weapons that you have right now. I don't know why the number is so low. Maybe they're predicting that David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs take a lot more.
JB, I was just about to say
of
that.
The offensive workload to ease off of Jared Goff. But then again, like, I just don't see that happening with the coaches that you have. So I'm taking an over on this one and praying for no injury.
No,
I just don't think that there's a way where, even if we do throw ourselves even more into the running game, how much more can we? Like, we already run the ball at one of the higher clips in the entire NFL. Like,
yeah, and he's still over 4,000 yards.
He's still over 4,000.
Like, that doesn't make sense. That means Jahmyr Gibbs had a record like Barry Sanders type season.
Yeah, like every time he's touching the ball, like, he's making something happen.
Yeah, like I can't. That's crazy. 3,800. That's crazy.
It's only 224 yards a game.
That's crazy.
That's
Chase,
easy.
That's a light night for JG.
Yeah, Chase, what you feel about this, bro? Is the number too low?
I mean, not for bettors. I mean, it seems like an easy line to take.
Yeah.
It could always change too. It's May 7th right now, so they could always, come end of July, beginning of August, rewrite the lines and stuff. So I think it's just kind of like an early prop, and if you're able to hop on it now, it seems like some easy money to cash in on. But who knows? Like, I think anything over 4,000 for a quarterback who's going to the playoffs, almost like guaranteed penciled in.
Yeah,
and easy. I'd say like pretty favorable money to also win the division. You're probably going to end up with a 1,000-yard running back and a 4,000-yard quarterback, and maybe 1 or 2 1,000-yard receivers.
Yeah, that's just the way modern like NFL offenses are put together, man. Like that was a great point. And shout out to Key Ozzy in the chat. The NFL is basically trying to tell us Lions fans that Goff is basically a little above average without Ben Johnson, with the laughing emojis. Wake up, people. The message is clearly on the wall. Does the absence of Ben Johnson cost you 600 to 700 yards? Like, I don't understand. Like, Ben Johnson, yes, he is, a big deal leaving with the success that he had, but does that cost Jared Goff 600 to 700 yards? I don't think it does.
I'm absurdly confident that it won't.
Yeah.
Because you know what Ben Johnson did do in his time here? And regardless of what they achieved on the field, what he did is he put the tape out there to show John Morton what makes Jared Goff successful.
Yes.
And John Morton has also worked with Jared Goff.
He helped install the offense.
Exactly. That's where I don't believe that they're going to stall. I believe they're going to look very similar to how they did last year, except with a little more meat and potatoes. I expect them to run the ball a little more, and I expect them to rely on play action more. I expect it to be the infrastructure of how this offense was built from the ground up, and it to be the basic concepts that you can't stop. And they're just going to line up, and they're going to be like, we have better players, we have better concepts, we're going to run them down your throat, and we're going to beat you.
Yeah, and shout out to John Morton and Lions fans. Pay attention to this because he put an emphasis when he was spoken to recently on explosive plays. He wants to keep the explosive plays coming here in Detroit. And like I said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yes, Ben Johnson was responsible for a lot of the trick plays. I don't think they're dead, though. Like, this Lions offense is going to find ways to get the football in their best playmakers' hands and eat up a lot of yardage in the process. Like, this offense is built for chunk yardage. So I'm not necessarily – Jared Goff is going to be fine.
Yeah, I completely agree. I have no doubts about Jared Goff, and the line is tricky, but I'm willing to dive right in.
Bet your mortgage on it. Over. That's a mad over. I will put a lot of shit on that.
So a little more of a competitive line is the Jared Goff touchdown line. The Jared Goff touchdown line is at 28.5. Okay. Over the last 3 seasons, he has gone 37 last year, 30 and 29.
Oh, you said it's 28.
28.5.
28.5. I would dare to say.
I hate how he's hit all these numbers as a Lion. I think that is like very telling.
Give me under, but like it'll be like 27. It won't be nothing crazy, but.
So you're thinking like Monty, like tearing his ACL half yard away from his regular season rushing prop? That type
well, I hope not. Goddamn. But what I do feel like is John Morton is going to give Lions fans kind of what they've been asking for over this offseason. Y'all want him to run the ball? I feel like John Morton is going to put a big emphasis on running the damn football. And if Jahmyr Gibbs is, who we believe him to be, and if they view him as, he should be getting more touches at this point in his career, then I think that this rushing attack could go to the next level, and that might mean Jared Goff has less passing touchdowns, but he'll still get the yardage. He'll still be just as good. I mean, 2 or 3 less touchdowns I don't think really is alarming, like, as a Lions fan.
Yeah, and I think another thing is the quality of opponent is calculated in this because of the fact that we have to go on the road so many times against quality teams, especially outside, and that might affect the passing yard number. But and thinking about last year, obviously last year in the Texans game, that was a ridiculous stat day from Jared Goff, both ways, good and bad. how many of those days do you really have? Do you have those huge 400-yard passing days? So I could definitely see him hitting the 28.5. I'm definitely like staying away. I would take the over, but I like the passing yards a lot better if I was taking one of the two.
Oh yeah, that's easy money. JB, what you feeling on this, man? Over under 28.5 touchdowns for Jared Goff.
I really want to take the over on this one, but I'm leaning towards you, KG. I'm going with the under, but it won't be by much. And I got to give credit to Justin as well, too. You got to factor in the quality opponents, especially on the road as well.
Yeah, a lot more outdoor games this year.
A lot more outdoor games, and, that allegation's still out there. He can play great outdoors still, but I think Monty and Gibbs will kind of vulture a couple of these touchdowns taken away from his end-of-season total. So it won't be by much, but I'm still shooting for the under.
Chase.
24.5?
Oh,
was that the number?
No, I thought that was your prediction. I'm like, damn.
No, I was asking if that was the line.
No, 28.5.
Okay, sorry.
I'm like, damn, 24.
I don't know how you do half, but 28.5. Yeah, I'll say over.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you have playmakers like the Lions do, you could dump a pass, like a slant route. Jameson Williams could take, a 9-yard flat to, like a crossing route all the way to the house, and you have Jahmyr Gibbs, a screen pass. Amon-Ra, he's a tough guy to tackle. So I think just with the playmakers the Lions have and the play action ability, I think that combo will open it up. We can touch 30 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like an easy over. I'm just trying to play it safe because the way they did that yards line, I'm kind of weary now. Like, he's going to have a drop-off somewhere. Vegas is on it. So.
Well, I think Vegas is on the drop-off for the entire Lions, and I think you're going to see that as we go down this list. I told you there's one on this list that you're going to be utterly shocked at.
Yeah.
I literally can't believe this is a line. But we're going to get to that next. JB, who